Good morning, students. So now we will come to the next quantitative measure of the central bank through which it is controlling the money supply in the economy. Yesterday we did bank rate. Okay. So now the next is the repo rate. Now what is repo rate? Repo rate is the rate. Sometimes the commercial banks falls short of fund. Okay, and it may require funds, okay, for a short time period, and thus it borrows from the central bank. Okay, now the rate of interest at which the central bank gives loans to the commercial bank is called the repo rate. Now you may get confused about bank rate and repo rate. Both are the same thing. Central bank is giving loans to the commercial bank or is giving credit to the commercial bank. But in the bank rate is the rate at which the central bank is giving loans to the commercial bank against approved securities for a long term. In repo rate, central bank is giving loans or funds to the commercial bank at an interest rate for short term. Okay. Now, how this repo rate will control the inflation and the deflationary situation? During the inflationary situation, central bank can increase this rate of interest at which it is lending the commercial bank for short time. Okay, means it can increase the repo rate. Okay, now if the central bank is increasing the repo rate or it is increasing the rate of interest, that means the commercial bank also has to increase the rate of interest at which it will give loans to the customers. If the central bank is increasing the rate of interest, that is the repo rate at which it is lending the commercial bank will automatically, or it has to increase the rate of interest at which it will lend to the customers. Now, thus, if the commercial bank increases the rate of interest as central bank has increased, then what will the customers do? Customers will not take loans because the rate of interest is high. They will not go to take loans, and thus the purchasing power will be controlled. That means there will be less money supply in the economy. If the customers are not going to take loans, okay, there will be now restricted money supply in the economy. Okay, and thus the inflationary situation will be controlled. Yesterday only in the video I said what is inflation? When the prices are continuously rising, means demand is high, supply in the economy is less. So when the demand is high, you have to control the demand, otherwise the prices will go on rising. So the central bank through this way is controlling the prices, controlling the inflation by controlling the money supply in the economy. But because as much money we will have in our hand, we will spend. Okay, we will demand also. So in this way by increasing the repo rate, it is controlling the inflation because it will reduce the loans taken by the customers and thus it will reduce the money supply in the economy. Okay. Now, similarly, in the deflationary situation, what is happening? The opposite will happen. Central bank will reduce the repo rate, means it will reduce the rate of interest at which it is lending the commercial bank. Obviously, now the commercial bank will also reduce the rate of interest at which it will lend the customers. Customers will take loans, okay, and they will invest. Okay, money supply in the economy will increase. Okay, and thus demand will increase. Why in deflationary situation we need to increase demand? Deflationary situation is a situation where the demand is less, production is less, employment is less. Okay, everything is in a low manner. Okay, employment, production, demand, everything is in a lesser quantity, or it is low. Okay, so in a deflationary situation, the central bank in this way tries to increase the demand in the economy. Thus, indirectly, it is increasing the demand in the economy by making the loans easier. So, by reducing the repo rate, it is controlling the deflationary situation in the economy. Now the next point is reverse repo rate. Now what is reverse repo rate? So first was bank rate, then is repo rate, next is reverse repo rate. What is this reverse repo rate? Means in repo rate, central bank was lending the commercial bank. Now the reverse will happen. Sometimes commercial bank have got enough funds with them, and thus they want to save a part of their reserves with the central bank and earn interest on it. Okay, sometimes the commercial bank have got enough reserves with them, and thus they wanted to save it with the central bank and thus earn interest on it. Okay, so the rate of interest which the central bank is giving the commercial bank on its reserves that it is maintaining with the central bank, the rate of interest which the central bank is giving to the commercial bank on the deposits or on the savings which the commercial bank is maintaining with the central bank is called the reverse repo rate. Now, how this reverse repo rate is affecting is controlling the inflation and deflationary situation. Now, in the inflationary time, suppose the central bank increases the reverse repo rate, means it increases the interest rate which it is giving on the savings maintained by the commercial banks with the central bank. Now, if the commercial bank sees that if it deposits money, if it saves money with the central bank, it is getting so much interest, so obviously commercial bank will be encouraged to save their money with the central bank, and thus they will save more and more of their excess reserves with the central bank. Now, thus what happens when they are saving excess reserves of them with the central bank? That means limited amount of excess reserves are left with the commercial bank to lend as loans. Thus automatically they can extend less loans than before, and thus in this way again the money supply in the economy is controlled. Moreover, in the deflationary situation, what does the central bank does? The central bank now reduces the reverse repo rate. Means if the commercial bank sees that they are not getting much interest on the money that they are saving with the central bank, thus they will be reluctant or they will be not willing to save their excess deposits with the central bank, and thus they will now have enough money with them, that is commercial banks will have now enough money with them to lend to the public. Okay, and thus loans will be taken. Okay, and thus again money supply will improve in the economy, and thus demand will be generated in the deflationary situation. So these are the ways in which the central bank is controlling the inflation and deflationary situation.